What is good, my brothers? This is the youngest Jim bringing you another little Madden video here. I'm going to do a little mini series for Madden. Get ready for the next game. A little quarterback university, little QBU episode 1. In this episode, I'm going to go over some very basic strategy, quarterback development, team philosophy, kind of items as we approach heading into new game, new franchise. A little bit of background here. And the MFL season 8 is coming to a close. I think it's season 8. You can see my Falcons squad, their team rankings and stats in the middle. Offensive points per game, I was 7th, which is decent. Offensive pass yards per game, I'm 2nd. Jackson Dart did not make the top of the leaderboard because he was hurt for a full game. I think he just missed one game. Otherwise, pretty sure I would have been up there. Just a little bit of context for that I know a little bit of what I'm talking about with these Madden quarterbacks. This Falcons team I took over season 3, built them up a little bit, got them. I did a lot to this roster. This is basically got this roster where I wanted it. Strong team overall, strong offense. Just didn't execute in the playoffs, didn't get to where we want. The Super Bowl will be occurring tomorrow. Should be absolutely sick. Try to commentate that game if I can. Your Atlanta Falcons won the South. Put me in a decent spot to try to make a playoff run, and just didn't execute, just didn't get it done. Let's go into the roster and talk quarterbacks. As you can see, Jackson Dart, I took him over when he was a 72 overall, going into his rookie year, I want to say, or his second year. So I have built him up. I think he was a start at when I took him over. I have now built him up to be a 99 overall superstar X Factor. So I'm going to go over just some development philosophy and abilities that I've chosen. So your dev upgrades that you take, you're obviously going to cater to your strengths. Me, I'm primarily a pocket passer when I play this game most of the time. For some of you there's a lot of guys who really like to scramble quarterbacks, you'd probably take a guy with a scrambler archetype and build that up quicker, and then be able to kind of abuse the game, because Madden lets you kind of abuse rushing quarterbacks a little bit. I would highly recommend to everybody, if you are 80-20 running the ball, maybe this doesn't quite apply to you, but the quarterback is, really the most important position in the game, maybe the most important position in sports. Your guy gets the ball in every single play. You have to know what everybody on your side of the ball is doing. You have to know what everybody on that side of the ball is doing. If you have a difference maker at quarterback, you can change the game. So I would highly recommend to all you guys when you start these new franchises to be developing your quarterback until they are at least probably 95 overall, especially if you have a young guy. I don't know the unlocks for the abilities at the high 90 overall when you get each ability. But when we get the new game, it'll show you the abilities that are locked in when you unlock those. But the abilities that you get towards the high 95, 97, 99 are game-breaking abilities. And I wish I'd unlocked some of these faster so I could kind of abuse them a little bit. But I would highly recommend, especially if you're a young quarterback, always doing his development. For those who like scrambling with the quarterback, rushing yards help with quarterback XP at a faster rate than passing yards. But I was generally pretty happy with the XP gains that I got with Jackson Dart, with him being a younger guy when I took him over. He's 26 now. He's 22, 23 when I took him over, something like that. I felt like he developed at a pretty consistent rate. I got him from 72 to probably the mid 80s or so from the first season. That first season that I went to the Super Bowl, absolutely balling out. And then low 90s, mid 90s, and then to 99 this season. Another thing, if you guys do go the route of taking a young quarterback, taking a low overall quarterback, you have to play within their wheelhouse. So when I had Jackson Dart, everybody knew I was running my 5 wide. I was focusing short pass game every single game and literally just taking what the defense gives you. And even first people who knew I was passing, a lot of times that kind of stuff's open. Your hitches, your drags, your slants, your whip routes, just abusing that stuff versus the correct. You got to call it versus the correct coverage. You got to call it versus the correct man leverage, all that kind of stuff. Everybody wants to throw the go ball every single play. But if you are developing a younger guy who has less arm strength, weaker down the field accuracy, you got to just take what the defense will give you until you can get a guy with a boom arm like this and some abilities. That way you can just torch the defense down the field and get away with, like now with the abilities that I have on him, I can get away with some ignorant decision making throwing the ball down the field. So if you go the route, and I will be doing this in Madden 26. I'm currently trying to decide with my Cowboys. I'm probably gonna have to use Dak for at least a little bit because of his contract situation, which is unfortunate. But I'm gonna try to obtain a young guy, build him up like I did Jackson Dart, get that quick development. Hopefully, find a guy that's minimum star dev trait, get in the lab, get him training, get him in the game, and fast track that. So that way I can have an absolutely OP quarterback and make a run, hopefully. I'm going to go over some of the abilities that I have now chosen. Now he's 99 overall. Absolutely love Omaha. There's some super sick abilities in the game. This is a little bit of a preference because I do believe that there's a couple X Factor abilities that you could take in lieu of this, and I would have no problem with you taking it. This is, you have to make 6 consecutive pass attempts or completed passes that are in the air for over 5 yards, which is not horrible. It takes some focus and some effort to make 6 completions in a row without making a mistake. They go, that you can't just take a smoker out or a very short drag. And then in pre-play, when you show your play art, you can see the entire coverage shade. So you can't see the interior linebackers, but you can see the corners, nickel corners, and safeties. You can see exactly what their responsibility is. Now, if somebody's using them, they can make them do whatever they want. But this is insane to be able to see the coverage shell. The coverage shell basically tells you what the coverage is. And if they're in man, it'll show you that they're in man. So you basically know if they're in man. You know if they're in a 2-4, 3, 1 high, whatever it is. And basically, that tells you what the play is. And if you are focused, there's obviously a little bit of human error, but if you're focused, you should basically not make a mistake once you have this unlocked. And I unlocked this first Commanders. I torched him up a little bit. I just made too many costly mistakes. I had Omaha unlocked in the red zone. He ran cross man, and I was in a rush, and I didn't break down the cross man. I had a wide open touchdown that I could have taken, but he ran cover 0 and sacked me. It had nothing to do with Omaha being bad. I literally just didn't take my time. It showed. I watched the game back. It showed the cross man. He left number 1 to the field wide open for a touchdown, and I didn't take my time. I was in a hurry and a rush, and I should have just taken my time, and it would have helped me have a much better chance to win my game. It would have been super sick if I would have unlocked Omaha earlier. Like I mentioned, some of the superstar abilities, I think that there's arguments to taking some other ones in lieu of what I got currently, but I'm just going to go over what I got and say, number 1, you absolutely have to run Master Tactician. Master Tactician is unbelievable. Passers with this ability have access to 4 extra hot routes during pre-play adjustments. So basically, when you have receivers that are better than your quarterback, a lot of your receivers will get like Hot Route Master, or whatever their version is. If it's slot, hot route, whatever they're called for the outside receiver, the inside receiver. When you have this, you don't have to run any of the hot route abilities on any of your receivers, tight end, whatever, because he has access to everything. During pre-play adjustments, make hot routes faster, which is super sick for those of us who have concepts in our mind when we see a certain coverage or a certain alignment that we want to change the play. And I don't know if this applies to your blocking shades. I think it might, because there was an ability that I had before this that I replaced with Master Tactician, because Master Tactician does more. I think that it does, but doing out routes faster is helpful. And receive immediate playmaker reactions from wide receivers. This is absolutely insane. I only got access to it right before my playoff game, so I have not gotten to practice with it that much. I didn't get to abuse it that much in the game. Also, he was running straight cover 4, which cover 4, so Master Tactician with this immediate playmaker reaction. If you ever watch the pros play, they all use this, and they basically just abuse it. Whatever coverage a guy's running, they'll run a drag and basically send their drag receiver to the open spot and just find the opening in the zone, and it's damn near automatic because you can threaten to run with your quarterback. And for anybody who doesn't know, when you are running a pass play and whatever your receiver's closest to you, you can use your right stick and flick it in a direction that you want to send him. If you don't have this ability, there is about a 3/4 second to a second delay before he starts going where you want him to go, which that's a lot of time in the pocket, or if you're scrambling, it just makes it a little bit harder to execute that kind of thing. This makes his response to you immediate, and it's absolutely insane. So I can, send my guy on a drag, and I can find whatever hole in the zone, and send him there, and it just helps gash the defense quicker. So the combination of the extra access to hot routes, making hot routes faster, immediate playmaker. This is just unreal shit. Like I said, I just got access to it. If I would have had access to it sooner, that would have been pretty sweet. Running Gunslinger, passers with this ability have faster passing speed and release the ball quicker. I definitely noticed a difference here. There's a couple abilities that have similar descriptions of this. I'm pretty sure this is pretty OP. It helps a little bit, with this faster passing animation and or faster passing speed and release the ball quicker. This helps avoid sacks. I can't tell you how many times that I've tried to throw a ball to a wide open guy and the defensive line just barely gets to me, where I'm, throwing a completion to the ground at the line of scrimmage just because I just didn't get it off in time. And also faster passing speed. This will help with some of the risky balls, and I throw a lot of them. I throw a lot of picks. Something I'm going to focus on going into 26, especially with a seam ball versus a corner that's kind of shaded over in cover 3. Like sometimes you got to zip the shit in there. Especially if you're playing a good opponent, sometimes there's tight windows, and this helps to make some of those throws. Fearless pass with this ability are immune to throw penalties caused by defensive pressure while their feet are set in the pocket. I don't know, so I only use this one game, and I think it's fine. There is another one, I think it's called Quick Draw. It's the boot. Passers with this ability have faster passing animations when they're throwing under pressure. I really liked Quick Draw. This one, I'm not sure if I'm in love with it. There is one, and I don't know what it's called, but I think that there's one where you take no penalty if your quarterback is under duress, under pressure. Because I think so this one, you're immune to throw penalties, but while your feet are set. And a lot of times, I'm moving the pocket. I'm moving side to side and forward and back. And I'm not sure if I would take Quick Draw or Fearless next year, but I'll have more time to play with them and report back on that. But I think it's important to have some sort of ability to counter pressure, because guys are going to blitz you, and you got to be able to make that throw to the wide open guy when somebody's blitzing you. Otherwise, they're just going to abuse some of these cover 0 or some of these 6-1 defensive sets where they are sending a guy free off the edge, and there's not a ton that you can do about it besides be able to make the read quick and make that throw. I just put on Comeback. I assumed I was going to be in some really close games. When playing from behind, players with ability can easily enter the zone. I wanted to get access to Omaha as quickly as I could, if I really needed to be dialed and locked. So there are some things that in my opinion, you could take over Comeback. But just being that it was about to be playoffs, I wanted to be able to have access to that if I really needed it. Protected passers' ability to receive better pass blocking from their offensive linemen. My offensive line is decent. I have a lot of guys that are mid to high 80s overall. I don't really notice that my offensive line is horrible in any way, shape, or form. There's a couple guys in the league who have some insane defensive ends, 95 plus, who have given me problems. Most of my line problems have been from guys who have creative blitzes, either a loop blitz that works well, or if they get into a certain front where they blitz off the edge and I just didn't account for it or slide for it. Or another thing that I don't like, and I don't know if they're going to take it away for 26 or not, but the engage bail. So a guy will take his user, engage with an offensive lineman, and that'll help a backer or somebody kind of get through a gap, and then they'll pull their user back into coverage. So that way they're not really losing too much coverage over the middle of the field, and they're still getting a very favorable blitz animation with their AI. I don't know if that'll be a problem for 26 or not, but we'll evaluate that when we get to it. I definitely, for me, being 99% pass heavy, I think that this is a good ability because I need to be able to, for guys who are dropped in coverage, I need to be able to sit there and let routes develop. And when I was playing Commanders, you can see the highlights. I had several plays where I let slants across the entirety of the field, and I had a lot of time. And I had been running protected, so I had no problem with protected. I did not notice any issues with my own line, and I would definitely run it again. I think it's a good ability. So I think that will mostly do it for the intro to QBU. I will be doing some additional more gameplay breakdowns or other advice or just things that I've noticed in the game specific to quarterbacks. This is the thing that I'm most knowledgeable about in football. So if you guys have any specific questions about quarterback play in the game, quarterback development in Madden, or abilities or anything like that, anything that I've messed around with ability-wise that you think is better than what I'm running, I mean, absolutely. I love talking ball. I love talking Madden with the bros. So let's, figure it out, have a discussion about it. I can't wait to decide what young quarterback I'm going to take next season and turn him into Superman, absolute superstar like Jackson Dart, and try to make a run next season. So appreciate you boys. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of Shop Talk, QB-wise, QBU episode 1, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.